This is the robot that let me stop thinking about pet hair. I said it once, and every day my floors actually look like someone just vacuumed. This is the Shark Matrix Plus 2-in-1 robot vacuum and mop, model of V2610WA. It sits in that sweet spot for people who want a hands-off cleaning routine without turning their home into a science project. If you share your space with a dog, a cat, or both, or if you have a mix of hardwood, tile, and area rugs, this fits right in. I am someone who notices tumbleweeds of fur in the corners and tiny crumbs under the dining table, and I want those gone with minimal effort. That is who this is for. The design is understated in a way that helps it disappear into daily life. The base is a compact tower that doubles as a dust collector. It is bagless, with a clear bin so I can see when it needs attention, which for me has been far less often than I expected. The robot itself has a low enough profile to slide under my sofa and the edge of my bed. The top controls are simple and the lighting is not bright, so it never feels like a gadget screaming for attention. Underneath, the brush roll and side brush are easy to reach. The mopping attachment clicks on without a fuss, and the pad secures with a small strip of hook and loop fabric. No complicated brackets, no fiddly latches. That matters when I am swapping between modes without wanting to kneel on the floor for 5 minutes. Setup was refreshingly straightforward. I plugged in the base, set the robot down, and followed the steps in the Shark application. Connecting to my wireless internet took a moment, and then it asked to do a mapping run. I let it explore while I answered emails. It went room by room, traced the edges, and filled out a full map that I could label and divide. After that, creating schedules was painless. I set a daily clean at noon on weekdays and a deeper clean on Saturday mornings. If I am on a video call and it starts up, the application has a clear send home button. Tap that and it turns around and returns to the dock without drama. The responsiveness has been solid. Commands register quickly, and any changes to the schedule actually stick. What stands out in real use is how it cleans in a deliberate, overlapping pattern. Instead of wild zigzags, I see it make passes in one direction, then come back from the other angle. That slow, methodical approach catches what a single pass might miss. On hard floors, it gathers dust lines and fine grit into the path and leaves the surface looking uniformly swept. On my living room area rug, it climbs onto the rug without stalling, and it does not get confused at the edges. I can hear it ramp up when it encounters thicker fibers, and when it crosses back to hardwood, it settles down again. That transition is smooth, which has not always been the case with other robot vacuums I have owned. The self-empty routine is one of those features I did not know I would appreciate this much. When it docks, the base kicks on and pulls everything out of the robot's dust cup in a few seconds. It is loud during that moment, about as loud as a handheld vacuum, but it is brief. In exchange, I barely think about emptying anything. Shark says the base can go up to 60 days without needing to be cleared, and in my house with a dog and a cat, I am on pace to hit that number. When I do empty it, it takes moments. Pop the bin, dump it, and slide it back in. On the robot itself, the dust cup button is a little stiff, but it means it does not pop open by accident. Mopping is simple and practical. I attach the pad, fill the reservoir, choose a water setting in the application, and it vacuums while it mops. That combination matters because it collects the fine grit that would otherwise get smeared around. On my kitchen tile, it leaves a light, even damp trail that dries quickly. It will not replace a deep scrub if you spill something sticky and let it dry, and to be fair, I do not expect any robot mop to do that. For day-to-day footprints and the light film that accumulates in high traffic areas, it keeps the floors looking fresh in a way that manual spot mopping used to handle. In daily use, it has proven it can handle a lot of small household messes. My dog sheds year-round, and my cat kicks litter out of the box like confetti. After the first mapping run, I created a no-go zone around the litter area and a small spot clean zone by the back door where sand and grit build up. Now I can send it to just those zones after a walk or when I see those annoying specks catching the light. The robot does a dedicated edge pass along baseboards and corners, and that makes a visible difference, especially in the hallway where fur tends to swirl. I have also seen it slow down at chair legs and slide around them rather than ramming through, which helps it avoid tangling on cables. I have tried a few stress tests that mimic everyday accidents. Dry cereal and cracker crumbs in the kitchen disappear in one pass. A light sprinkle of coffee grounds needed an extra overlap, but ended up gone without me touching a broom. On the rug, it lifts pet hair out of the fibers instead of leaving it matted. I have had a couple of longer hairs wrap around the brush roll after a week of use, which is normal for my household, and popping the brush out for a quick cleanup is easy. The application even reminds me to check the brush and the filter. Those reminders are helpful rather than nagging. Navigation has been reliable. It does not barrel into obstacles, and it has not gotten wedged under any furniture in my home. The mapping held up over weeks, even after I moved a small side table and a floor lamp. It took one run to adjust and update. It returns to the dock without hunting, and if the battery gets low mid-job, it tops up and then resumes right where it left off. I have seen a couple of odd choices, like calling a small hallway its own room, which I then edited in the application. Once I renamed and merged areas, it stuck to the plan. The way I use it most often is on a schedule. Every day at noon, it wakes up, cleans the high traffic areas, and then returns to the dock. If I am around and I want silence, I tell it to dock and I push the clean to later. Once a week, I attach the mop and run a combined vacuum and mop routine while I am doing laundry. The base empties when it finishes, and I toss the pad into the wash. The routine feels sustainable, and the house stays consistently cleaner than when I relied on one big cleaning day. There are some smart touches that genuinely help. Room-based cleaning makes it simple to say, clean the kitchen and the hallway only. Zones let me target the path between the back door and the living room after a rainy walk. The application lets me toggle a deeper 2-pass clean for areas that need extra attention. The allergen control is noticeable for me. The base has a high-efficiency particulate air filter, and the way the system contains dust means I stir up less when I empty it. I used to sneeze after emptying a handheld vacuum. I do not get that cloud here, and that is a big deal in spring when everything flares up. It is not perfect. The emptying burst is loud, and if you schedule a clean while someone is napping nearby, that moment will wake them. The mop will not handle dried sticky spills, and very textured tile needs a manual scrub sometimes. Editing maps in the application is mostly great, though splitting and merging rooms requires a bit of patience the first time. And like every robot vacuum I have owned, cord spaghetti is still the enemy, so I do a quick sweep for charging cables before a run. None of these have been deal breakers, but they are worth knowing before you buy into the idea of fully hands-off cleaning. If you are wondering who should consider this, here is my take based on real use. If you have pets, mixed flooring, and a life that pulls you away from constant cleaning, this earns its spot. The combination of reliable vacuuming, a practical mopping option, and a base that keeps the dust contained makes day-to-day maintenance feel automatic. If you expect a robot to scrub dried sauce off tile grout or deep clean a shag carpet, you will still want a traditional mop day and a manual vacuum for the occasional reset. For everyone else, especially allergy-sensitive folks and busy households, this comes very close to set it and forget it. You can find detailed information about the Shark Matrix Plus 2in-1 robot vacuum and Mop AV2610 WA in the comments section. See you in the next video.